Good morning. I'm heading to Johnstone today and I'm going to walk from Johnstone station through the town onto the cycle track all the way to Lochwinnoch, and it's about 7 miles. It's a rainy day, the rain's to get heavier. I'm hoping I can avoid it by getting an early start, so we'll find out. Arrived in sunny Johnstone. Town centre of Johnstone. Nice old unused fountain and grandstand, bandstand. War monument. Anyway, we'll be at the cycle tracks for the night and out of the town. Through the thrum and the buzz of the town, it says in that fence. Well, kind of get a wee bit of artwork. Right, now somewhere down here's the entrance, just past this Starbucks. The entrance to the cycle track. It's at least 10 years since I walked it, so I need to jog my memory. There we go. 14 miles to Glasgow, 3.5 to Paisley. Lochwinnoch, 5 miles from here. Look at that, you can walk right down alongside the river here. You get a cracking view. I mean, it's not like it's a nice maintained river bank, but still. Now that's me on the cycle track anyway. I've got that river just running alongside it, but it's mostly forest and it's all paved, so I'm quite happy with that. Because if the rain gets heavy, I don't want to be squelching through mud. Right now the rain's just drizzling a little bit, but it is quite mild, so it's a nice day for a walk. After my last video, when I was out in the glorious winter sun, I was hoping for more walks in the sun, but it just hasn't happened. Had that lovely day. Oh, there was somebody behind me there. Had that lovely day, and then rain, a lot of rain. And to be fair, there hasn't been much rain in the west coast this winter, but it looks like it's been making up for it the past few days. So I'm glad it's not heavy just now. But, I think it's forecast to be heavy in the afternoon, but I plan to be home before I get to that time of day. Farm and horses there. Oh. A scenic electricity pylon. Don't worry, we'll get away from civilization soon. I thought I went straight ahead, but apparently not. That's Milton Park Station that way, so it's up here. Oh goodness, it's sending me back the way I came. What the? Right, I'm doubling back myself now. I'm just following the signs. I need to cross the motorway perhaps. I think that's where it is. It's been that long since I walked this, I can't remember. But I must need to cross the motorway to go onto the route to Lochwinnoch. happy to get away from this busy road. Do these walks to get peace and quiet, not to be deafened by 70-mile-an-hour traffic. And a bit of farmland, just what we need. I'd quite like to overtake these people ahead of me, so that I can continue to waffle to the camera unimpeded. Or maybe I should just shut up. Maybe show you some of this. I mean, the sky is pure grey today. I was messing about with the settings in my last video and ended up overexposing the video. Now again, this video is looking a bit overexposed, but it might just be that the sky is so grey that it's making it look overexposed, but it's not. So I'm just going to leave the settings as they are, as another second trial run. So the reason I've started messing about with the settings on camera is it was set previously to auto adjust the light conditions. So what I was finding is, if I was pointing the camera at myself like I'm doing now, the contrast and the brightness would change depending on whether I'm pointing it up at the sky or if it is my head close to the top, and it just was really annoying and it made for a poor video. So I've set the settings to a fixed brightness and contrast, and I'm hoping that's going to fix it. I'm sure there'll be many bridges like this over the path, and plenty of graffiti as well. Open fields. Do you know what? I'm not 100% sure that this brightness setting is okay. I've left it the same as it was on my extremely sunny day video. Now obviously today it's no sunny, so I thought, well, it'll be fine. That last video was overexposed, but I'm looking at this and then I'm not so sure. I'm going to leave it as is anyway, because the more I test it, the better idea I'll have what settings to put the camera to. I see a lot of people out with the camera and their video looks better than mine, and I'm not having that. A sea of mud. Oof. Loads of horses over there, must be about 10 horses. Having a wee drink from the stream. It's like another poor farmer with a mansion up in the hill. Every time I just catch these people up, they start walking faster. I don't think I'm going to pass them. I think they're going to be in front of me for the duration. So I said in my last video that I'm rapidly running out of walks that are reasonably close to home. You know, that are on this line between Glasgow and Ayrshire. I'm going to have to try and come up with some ideas. Probably going to have to travel a wee bit further afield, so I think I'm going to treat myself to a rail card. What a treat, eh? A rail card, because you can get 20% off tickets, and the prices of them are getting a bit dear. So once I get a rail card, we'll maybe start going up to Glasgow, find a few walks up there, save myself a couple of quid in train fares. Maybe go a wee bit further afield come the summer. I'm entitled to an over 50s rail card. I know what you're thinking, I don't look over 50, I look over 60, but I am over 50. But with this rail card, sometimes during the year they do a fixed fare deal where you can get I think it's a return for £19 to anywhere in Scotland. I hope it's a return, because that would be a bargain. Now I can't go anywhere in Scotland at the minute because I've got 2 old sickly cats at home, and I've got to give them my medicine a couple of times a day and keep them fed and watered. But eventually I will. But I'll probably go a wee bit further than where I have been going anyway if I get this rail card. I maybe do once a month a longer journey with another 3 videos the rest of the month that are just wee short walks just to break it up a wee bit. I mean, I don't want to be spending £100 a month in train fares just to go out and walk, so I'll find a use for the rail card though if I get it. Yeah, I see a sign to go back in, so I must be here. So I can walk to the right to go back in, which is a walk I've never done actually. I think my pal drove me to go back into some pub that was on the cycle route before. I'll continue down. So go back in village centre, half a mile up there. So let's go back and look next to us. Lochwinnoch, 5 mile. That's the route I'm going. There's a good mum getting a wee lassie into good habits young. She's got her out jogging. That's no bad. To be young again. So I'm at Low Bar Home. That's the name of the bridge, is it? Or is it? No, I must have Low Bar Homes over that side, because on this side we've got Easewald Bank. The bridge is so high I can't see over the top, but I can hear traffic down there. A wee bench made of brick. Kilbarchan village centre, quarter of a mile down there. I've only ever passed through Kilbarchan on the train. I don't know what it's like. I really need to go a wee jaunt into it sometime, since it's just off this cycle track. Having said that, I don't like filming about towns, as you just saw when I was walking through Johnstone. A bridge with a view. We have a muddy old track between a couple of fields. It's quite nice though. Believe it or not, there's sun up there. You can just about see it breaking through the clouds. The good thing about stopping and taking a wee pause to look out across the countryside is it lets those people with the dog get further ahead of me. The bad point is, by doing that, it means I'll be slower in getting to Lochwinnoch, which makes my walk longer. So I doubt I'll do it in 2 hours, probably more like 2.5. So my target train will probably be missed. The train I was going to get about 20 to 12. I think there's another train at 10 past 12, so I'll be alright. It's actually a nice view across the fields here. And I can see some nice wee farm buildings in the distance, but on camera they just look tiny, which is unfortunate. There's not a lot I can do about that. Told you would see more bridges. Loads of them over this path. Old bridges as well. Only been there a couple of 100 years. Ever since the railways were built, this used to be a railway. There's a wee crafted bench. The legs look like a bike. Sheep, as usual. That's either a black sheep or a very muddy sheep. That one's definitely a black sheep. There's a few black sheep actually. There's one thing I can guarantee that we'll see in my videos, that it's sheep. And another bridge. Once again, I'm wearing too many layers. Absolutely sweating. I do this every time. I look out the window, it looks cold, it feels cold. So I stick on a jumper, and then by the time I start walking, I just end up roasting. I'm going to have to stop doing that. All the big eyesores, pylons. Again, leading from the road onto some farmland. Some housing over there. Not sure what that is. Howwood maybe? I must have passed Howwood by now surely. In fact I probably haven't, because there's the wee monument that's up in the hill at Howwood and I haven't seen that yet. I forget the name of it. Need to look that up. A lot of dog walkers out here this morning. Well, some walking, some jogging. But this woman here, the wee bug keeps looking back at me. Probably smells of snacks in my bag, which I think might be time to eat. And what's ahead of me? Another bridge. Fan building up to my left there. Another jogger. A lot of cyclists going past me. Quite often I would do my walks on a Monday morning. So coming out on a Saturday is a little bit of a rarity for me. I like to just clear my head after the weekend, go for a wee walk on a Monday morning, and it sets me up for the week. Obviously Saturdays are busier on these paths. I rarely see people on a Monday. There's another cyclist coming towards me. Cycle network for newts. Don't see any today. Palmate newts emerge from hibernation. So you're going to have to wait until spring, then you might see a newt. And dragonflies, butterflies, a yellow hammerbird, never heard of that. Red campion. Can be a wee bit of nature. Yeah, you get plenty of newts in that old marshy water there. Look at it. The Paisley to Kilbirnie railway path. It said this used to be a railway. And there's an interesting one actually. So that must have been the Kilbarchan turn off. We'll take you all the way to Gourock. That's interesting. Didn't know you could do that. Unfortunately for me to go to Gourock, I've got to get the train all the way back to Paisley, then sort of almost double back and go way up here, which is just a nonsense. There should be a train that connects Wemyss Bay Station to Largs along the coast, but there isn't. It's very annoying. This is a picture that everybody takes every time they come onto this cycle path. The sculpted bike. Oops, I've got to walk through marshy water to get to it. That was stupid. Bet there's a few people have plonked their backside up there. And considering it's at least 6 feet high, because I'm nearly 6 foot tall. Well, I'm 5'10", but just a couple of inches between friends. Now, I think I go right here. I think that path that was on is the exit into Howwood. So I must go up here. Howwood's a place I've never been in. Passed through it, but I've never really been in it. So if that's the exit, where is the town? The town's over to the left somewhere. You can see parked cars there, so it should be walkable. I mean, I'm not going to have a cycle track that you can't walk to or cycle to. But once again, we have a bridge, a differently designed bridge this time. Channeling my inner Swiss. Now, to through the trees, you can see the hill up there, and just right in the middle, well, I don't know what you see it for all these trees, but not Castle Semple Temple is on top of that hill. If we're going to walk to it, I'd imagine you would have exited back there and found the path up to it. Let me see if we get a better view further along here. I don't know if I'm going to get it. In fact, I see a sign, so there might be an exit here. This is probably where you would exit if you're going to walk up to it. Yeah, that sign says Howwood Station 1.5 miles. You can walk it, but it's an uneven surface, so yeah, you obviously walk up to this temple through here, but you're walking through muddy grass, and it's quite high up. You see it, that little dot in the middle of the screen? It's a shame I can't zoom in with this camera. You get a better view. As you can see, it's just all muddy grass. I'm not walking through that. I'll end up absolutely soaking feet, and it would take me about half an hour to get up there probably. Maybe in the summer. My friend has walked up to it, and he said it was a particularly unpleasant walk because of the terrain and the water and the mud, so I'm not overly keen to leg it up there. It's quite high up. I'm guessing at some point it's been a lookout tower or something like that. Maybe have to look that up. But it's right on top of that craggy cliff. So, put there for a purpose. I don't know if you can see that there. There's again a farm. But look at the solar array outside that farm. Can you see that? I think it's 2 black strips that run the length of that farm. There must be about, I'm going to guess, 40 or 50 panels in each strip. Solar panels, that is. Blimey hell. They must be exporting power back to the electricity grid with that amount of panels. But funnily enough, I stay in one of these cottage flats, a 4-block flat, so I can't get solar panels onto the roof because it's a shared building. But I've got a big garden at the back, and I'd love to do something like that, but there's a lot of trees around about me as well that are not in my land, so I can't do anything about it. It's a pity. Otherwise I would get a grant, put some solar panels in the garden, because I never use the garden. It's just a mess. Anyway, I'm still enjoying this view of that hill there. It's actually quite steep. I can actually see a path down there between the trees that heads, it's like, well, heads down there. So it must go down there, maybe loop back up and around perhaps. Actually does look like a good walk. I'm not going to listen to my pal because it looks like something that might be quite nice to do in the summer. You know, when it's nice and dry. Get a nice clear view of everywhere around about Renfrewshire from up there. So I think I need to put it on the list. Could get the train to Howwood and spend a couple of hours heading up to that and back. I can definitely see the path going away around. It either goes right around the hill or goes to this right side of it and goes up from there, but I suspect it winds right around. At bare minimum, goes down to the right and back up this side. It's length to go and walk. Well, I couldn't walk up a mountain these days, but that, I mean, it's not a mountain, I don't know how high that is. 1,000 feet maybe, I'll need to look it up. But it looks high from where I'm standing. Aye, I'm definitely going to walk that. Definitely. If I haven't done it by July, somebody send me a reminder. Because I'll forget that I said that. The cycle track is a bit samey, which it is at the start, but once it opens up here and you start to see the view, it really is a cracker. Get a wee river going down there as well. Superb. Can you see the cliff face in front of the temple? So I don't know. I'm just trying to see if you can see a path just sort of running up there. Might be one. Looks like somebody's been doing some tree chopping. Marshy. Got the moss here. You can tell this little ditch doesn't see a lot of sun because of all the moss. Looks like some jungle water. Quicksand. There's water hanging down the rock face there. And another bridge. I've been top all this time. It's quite a nice bridge actually. Get a brickwork. Nice brickwork. Imagine if they built a wall here today, it would be like a big grey slab. There's a horse down there. Just sitting there chilling out in the hay. Stuck out in the miserable rain. Poor thing. There's a loch in the distance through the trees. Must be approaching Lochwinnoch. Now what's that in there? I thought for a second that was the collegiate church at Lochwinnoch, but it isn't. It's some other structure. Not entirely sure what that is. Just see it. Where is it? Oh no, it is. I'm just seeing the rear end of it, which is good because I know where I am now. There's a collegiate church. I've got an old video for last summer where I was in there. I walked along the path at the other side. Nice walk actually, a beautiful walk in the summer. So that's the loch at Lochwinnoch over there, which is good. If I get my skates on, I might actually catch my earlier train. There's constant drizzly rain now. You can barely see from my specs being covered in rain. Still, it's a nice day despite that. It'd be worse if the rain was bouncing off the ground. Now somewhere just up ahead there should be a left turn that will take me down to the loch. It can't be too far, but as I can barely see anything because of the rain on the specs, it could be 2 miles away, it could be half a mile away, I don't know, because my visibility is rubbish. But there is a turn up here somewhere, my left turn. And it's my left turn that I couldn't see, it's more like a quarter of a mile away, so that's good. It's a frothy old stream. I need to replace these benches. They were nice when they were new. Less nice now. And the loch view. These keen joggers out in the drizzly morning. Still, it is quite warm. If you're running, a bit of that rain cools you down a bit. It's a grey dreich day. The loch is quite still considering. can barely see the hills beyond the loch for the low cloud and drizzle. So I've got about half an hour to get to the station from here, and that should be doable. It's about 20 minutes walk from the main complex at the Castle Semple Loch, and I'm only about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes away from that. There's a couple of canoes out there, a team of 4. I wonder if they're into racing. They're getting shouted at. It sounds like they're practising for a race. You see them out there? Again, probably just a speck in the distance. I wonder if that's practice or if that is an actual race. There's a speedboat following 2 canoes, and one's way behind. Oh, what a miserable day. This rain's getting heavier. My camera is waterproof, but the microphone isn't. So I think once I reach the cafe at Castle Semple Loch, I'm going to call it a day there. Try and protect my microphone. There's somebody fishing, just enjoying the view. Tell you what, it's busy here for such a miserable day. I think maybe stick to my Monday morning walk when there's nobody about. Some more fishing on. More fishing rods out. Not a nibble, there's a boating club up there. Apart from those 2 canoes, there's nobody out in the water. They're all here at the side fishing and walking dogs. And there's a cafe. I could go into a cuppa, or go home and make a cheap cuppa. I'll go for the cheap option. But it's quite handy if you've been a long walk, you just want to sit down for half an hour. Nip in there, get yourself a drink and a bun. It's flooding there. Lochs came right over the path. Oh, never seen that before. There's been a lot of heavy rain the past few days, right enough. Ducks and the swans are loving it. I think it's time to call it a day here. So I've just passed the visitor centre at Castle Semple Loch. I'm heading back to the station in a bit of a wet and steamy state. So thanks for watching today. I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio now.